Hey, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the ultimate bass fishing winter tip guide. These are 31 tips to guarantee to bend your rod during winter. Also, comment your favorite tip at the end. I'm giving away 5 packs of these USA Bass Tactical Swim Baits. They come in a 5-pack. I will reach out to you to 5 different people who comment at the end of winter here to get in touch to win these packs. All right, stay tuned. Check it out. Appreciate y'all. Ready? Let's go.
Hey man, Travis here. It's full on winter. Water just hit 41, 42 degrees, and depending on where you're at, some spots can be skimmed over with ice. You know these mornings where you've been grinding since daylight, hands are useless, nothing has even bumped your line yet? I've lived too many of those. But here's the switch that saves the whole month. Right now, bass aren't just gone, they're just downstairs. Today, it's straight talk, console to console, targeting true winter holes, main lake points, ledges, and creek channels from 25 to 45 feet, where they school tight for warmth and stability. Grab some hot coffee. Let's get your winter back on track. Why so deep in winter? November, they're still moving. December, they're parked and locked. Surface temps are upper 30s to low 40s. The thermocline's collapsed, and the only semi-stable water is down deep, where the bottom holds the last whisper of heat. Bass go full wolf pack mode. Big schools of same-size fish balled up with shad, barely swimming, just surviving. Your job isn't to make them chase, it's to drop a bait right in front of their face and annoy them into biting. 3 spots I live on. 1, main lake points that roll straight off into 40+ feet. The longer the point, the better. Bluff ledges or old roadbed drops, vertical with rock or standing timber. Creek channel swings closest to the main river, especially the sharp inside bends at 30 to 40 feet. I idle with side imaging, gain cranked, looking for those thick gray bait clouds hugging bottom with big white arches mixed in. When bait and bass are on the same screen, mark it, back off 80 yards, and then ease in dead quiet. Last week, I found a channel ledge at 37 feet. School looked like a Christmas tree. I vertical spooned him and went 5 for 8 in 25 minutes. Same morning up shallow, not a tap. Here's a quick one from the logbook. A couple Decembers ago, 26-degree air temp. I'm out with my old man trying to keep the skunk off before Christmas. We'd beaten banks for hours and nada. I finally say, let's just go stupid deep. Found a main lake point that falls into 44 feet, marked a wolf pack so thick the bottom disappeared. We dropped a blade bait and spoons right down, limited by 10 a.m. Biggest 5 went 23 pounds on the scale. Released everyone healthy, took a quick pick, and headed in with frostbitten smiles. He still calls it the Christmas miracle trip. That's December deep holes. When it lines up, it's absolutely money. Your December deep hole cheat sheet. Depth 25 to 45 feet. Shallower early month or sunny afternoons, deeper late or post frontal. Structure. Points are better than ledges. Ledges are better than channel bends. Chunk rock or hardwood is a bonus. Baits to use: a 3/4 ounce spoon, a 1/2 to 3/4 ounce blade bait, football jig, or a Demiki rig. Silver, white for sunny days, darker profiles on cloudy days. Your presentation should be a vertical jig or a dead slow drag. Count it down, work the strike zone, 30 to 60 seconds per drop. Electronics, if you use live scope or strong side down imaging, don't leave the ramp without it. That's literally my entire arsenal from now until February. Late morning through early afternoon, when the water finally quits dropping and the bass turn on like a switch. No hype, just 30 years of scars telling you why sleeping in a little actually puts more fish in the boat this month. Here's the deal. Nobody talks about it enough. In winter, the water is stupid cold, 38 to 44 degrees on most days. At dawn, it's still falling from the overnight chill. Bass are cold-blooded. When the temp is dropping even 1 degree, it seems they go comatose, glued to the bottom in a negative mood. You can drop a spoon on their head at 7 a.m. and they'll just stare at it. But give it a few hours, the sun climbs, the shallows warm a degree or two, deep water stops falling and stabilizes. That 1 or 2 degree bump is like a Red Bull to a winter bass. Metabolism kicks, shad get frisky, and suddenly those same fish that ghosted you at daylight are sliding up the brake lines or reloading on points looking for an easy meal. I'm talking 10:30 a.m. to about 3 p.m. That's the money window. So where do I focus during that warm-up? Main lake points and secondary points that catch direct sun, especially south-facing rock or chunk gravel. Bluff ends where the wall turns from shade to full sun around noon. Deep to shallow transitions, 25 feet out to 12 feet, where fish can slide up without burning energy. I'll sleep in, hit the ramp about 10, idle straight to a point that's been baking since the sun came up. By the time I make my first cast, the graph is lighting up with fish that weren't even there a few hours earlier. Their December midday cheat sheet. Prime window, 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Earlier if sunny, later if cloudy. Look for south-facing banks. Rock that's been in the sun 3+ hours, 8 to 25 foot transitions. Baits, blade bait or a spoon, football jig, or suspending jerkbait, long pauses. Key trigger, water temp rising or holding steady. Watch that graph like a hawk. Here's a bonus. Slight breeze on a sunny rock equals a shad flip. Bass will reload. Sleep in once, thank me later. I know half of you have already put the boat away thinking the season's over. I used to be that guy until I discovered the single most stupid effective bait for cold, clear water, a suspending jerkbait. Today, me and you, we're talking about why a perfectly suspended jerkbait absolutely punish bass in winter, where to throw them, and the exact cadence that makes them choke it. Here's the science in plain English. December water is cold and usually gin clear after the fall turnover. Bass slide out to 8 to 20 feet, park over a rock or wood, and go into low power mode. They won't chase a crankbait. They ignore a jig half the time, but a jerkbait that hangs motionless right in their face for 10 to 15 seconds, that's the one thing they can't stand. It looks like a dying shad that gave up. Easy calories. And when the bait suspends perfectly level, not sinking, not floating, it stays in the strike zone forever. They lose their minds. My go-to setup and pattern right now, I like a rod that's 6'10" to 7 foot medium power, a soft tip that's forgiving on treble hooks. Line, I always go a 10-pound braid to an 8 to 10-pound fluoro leader, long cast, no memory in the cold. Bait, Megabass 110, Lucky Craft Pointer 100, or the Megabass Vision 110 plus one. Anything that suspends dead level in 40 to 45 degree water. Colors, Pro Blue, Ghost Minnow, or Table Rock Shad in clear, French Pearl or Clown if it's in stained water. Where I fish it, rocky secondary points with a sharp 8 to 15 foot break. Bluff ends that drop into 20 plus feet of water. Standing timber on flats. Rip it down, let it die right beside the trunks. Cadence that's been working this week, 3 sharp rips, then 10 to 15 second pause, sometimes 20 to 25 seconds if the water's under 42. Patience is definitely a virtue here, and I'm not the most patient dude. But count it down in your head, it'll seem a lot quicker. The bite almost always comes on the pause. Rod just loads with no warning. Real quick, last Sunday, 38-degree air temp, water was 41.5. I'm on a main lake bluff that drops from 12 to 35 feet, a super sharp drop. First cast with a Vision 110+1 in French Pearl, rip, 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 pause, nothing. I'm counting to 15 and thinking about coffee. On 16, the rod doubles over. 5'9" smallie, fat as a football. Next 4 casts, 4 more fish, all in that 3 to 5 pound range, all on the long pause. My hands were frozen, but I forgot about that real quick. That's jerkbait voodoo. One cast can flip the whole day. Your suspending jerkbait cheat sheet, water temp sweet spot, 38 to 46 degrees. The colder it gets, the longer the pause. Your depth, 8 to 18 feet over deeper water. Let it hang in the kill zone. Your best conditions, sunny or light wind. The flash will kill. Your pause lengths, 8 to 25 seconds. Watch your line. The bite is soft. Upgrade your trebles and split rings. One good fish will pay for 10 baits. Put that on a sticky note on your console. It's money until it warms up outside. Water's 40, 43 degrees, and the lake looks dead. But down there, 25 to 40 feet, the bass are living their best life, tucked in thick cover like it's a condo complex. Today, it's just us talking it over, working deep cover, dragging jigs and soft plastics through submerged brush, rock piles, and standing timber where the fish feels safe and wait for crawdads to crawl out. Here's why it works when everything else feels hopeless. In winter, bass want 2 things, stability and security. Deep water gives them stable temps, and thick cover gives them a roof over their head. Brush piles, standing timber tops, or big isolated rock piles in 25 to 45 feet become apartments. Same size fish stack in the thickest limbs, crawdads hide in the branches, and the bass just sit and eat delivery. They won't chase, they won't move far, but they will inhale a bait that crawls right through their living room. You're not searching, you're knocking on doors. My exact pattern this week, target depth 25 to 40 feet. Focus on the tops of the cover, not the bottom. Cover types, old flooded brush piles, the thicker the better. Standing timber on old road beds or creek channels. Isolated chunk rock piles that stick up 5 to 10 feet off the bottom. Baits, a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce football or casting jig. Green pumpkin or brown with a matching crawl or creature trailer. Texas rigged 4 to 6 inch straight tail worm as backup. Line, 15 to 17 pound fluoro, heavy enough to pull them out of the lumber. Cast past the cover, let it pendulum down, then flow, drag, or dead stick it through the branches. Feel for the tick-tick of the limbs. The bite is usually a mushy weight or a tiny tick when you pick up the slack. Set the hook like you're lifting a bag and then hold on. You can load the boat on one piece of wood, your deep cover cheat sheet. Depth, 25 to 40 feet. Fish the top half of the cover. Your best cover. Brush is better than standing timber, which is better than chunk rock. Bait, a football jig plus a crawl trailer, first. Texas rig, second. Retrieve, lower than you think. Drag and stop. Drag and stop. Probably even slower than that. Tools, good side imaging. It works wonders to find them. A heavy rod to get them out of there. Bonus for you, sunny afternoons after a warm night. They'll be tight to those limbs. Put that on a sticky note on your console. It's money until it warms up outside. The bass have the metabolism of a hibernating bear. I'm going to say the thing that hurts to hear, but saves every winter trip. You are almost certainly fishing too fast. I watched guys with 25 years experience burn spinnerbaits in 40-degree water and swear the lake is dead. I used to be that guy. Today, we fix it for good. Ultra slow presentations with jigs, worms, and creature baits that match the sloth life these fish are living right now. Rule of thumb, if you think it's slow enough, cut your speed in half again. Cold-blooded bass in 40-degree water move inches, not feet. They want the bait to crawl within kissing distance of their nose, then sit there like it gave up on life. My go-to sloth rigs right now: 3/8 to 3/4 ounce football or finesse jig with a small craw or twin tail trailer. I like green pumpkin and brown. Texas rigged 5 to 7 straight tail worm or a 4-inch creature on a 1/4 to 1/2 ounce tungsten. I like the tungsten because you can feel a lot better. Your line, 12 to 17 pound fluoro, so it sits and stays down. Retrieve recipe that's super. Cast past the target, let it hit the bottom, drag 6 to 10 inches, pause 15 to 45 seconds, and then drag again. I'll literally watch the seconds on my watch every pause. The bite is almost always just heavy. Reel down slow and then whack them. Last time I was on a 32-foot brush pile, I dragged a 1/2 ounce jig exactly like that. 7 keepers off that one spot in the 3 to 5 pound range. It took me 2 hours because I moved the bait maybe 30 total feet. And check this out. If you're fishing on the bank this month, same exact rule applies, only easier. Find any deep swing bank or rip-rap point you can reach on foot. Dam faces, bridge corners, or steep roadbed cuts. Use the same 1/2 ounce jig or a 3/8 ounce Texas rig. Cast as far as you can toward deep water. Let it sink on slack line, then crawl it up the break one hop every 30 to 60 seconds. I've watched bank guys wearing out 4 and 5 pounders on public lake rip-rap in December, doing nothing but counting 45 between hops. You don't need a boat to fish slow. You just need patience. I remember a couple Decembers ago, I'm bank fishing a local public reservoir with my nephew. He's 12 and bitten bad by the bass fishing bug. No boat, just boots and backpacks. Water's 41 degrees. He's hopping a jig like it's spring. I'm doing the sloth drag. After an hour, he's got 1 short fish and he is freezing. I've got 5 keeper-sized fish so far. He finally goes, "Uncle Trav, how?" I pull out my phone, hit the stopwatch and say, "Watch the seconds. Don't move your jig until it hits 40. About 45 seconds later, no joke, rod doubles over, 6-1 comes to the bank. He looks at me like I was a wizard. Same spot, same jig, only difference was speed. Your December ultra slow cheat sheet. Speed, slower than you think is humanly possible. Baits, football jig, Texas rig worm or creature, nothing flashy. Pause lengths, 15 to 60 seconds. Colder equals longer. The bite feel, just heavy. Stay tight, reel down, and swing. Your bank bonus, deep swing banks plus long casts. Same pattern, no boat needed. Write slower in Sharpie on your rod handle. You'll thank me. The bass are picky as hell. You can drag a jig all day and get 2 bites, or you can match exactly what they're staring at and get 20. Today we're keeping it dead simple. Matching winter forage. Shad and crawfish are the only 2 things on the menu right now. And if your bait doesn't look like one of them, you're just practice casting. Rule number 1, size down and match the hatch. Right now, shad are dying or balled up in 20 to 40 feet. Most 2 to 4 inches long, super skinny and pale. Crawfish are sluggish and dark, 2 to 3 inches max, hiding in the rocks. If your bait is bigger than that, you're a billboard that says, "Not food." My current "they can't say no" lineup: 1, the dying shad look. A 3 to 3.8 high tech or a Z-Man TRD minnows on a 1/4 to 3/8 ounce ball head or underspin, a 3/4 ounce silver or white flutter spoon, Hopkins, Cotton Cordell, or War Eagle, a 1/2 ounce silver blade bait, the Demiki Vault, or a steel shad. Number 2, crawfish look, 3 to 4 inch green pumpkin or brown finesse craw or baby creature on a 3/8 to 1/2 ounce jig or Texas rig, a small Ned craw in green pumpkin or black blue fleck. Colors are brain dead simple: Clearwater, Ghost Minnow, Pro Blue, Smoked Pearl, stained water, white, chartreuse flash, a green pumpkin, a black blue, shad pattern retrieve, cast or vertical drop, let it helicopter down through the school, then ultra slow reel with the occasional pop. The bite is usually on the fall or the first turn of the handle. Craw pattern retrieve, drag 6 inches, dead stick or subtle shake in place for 15 to 30 seconds, then drag again. Same sloth speed as we talked about previously. Last Tuesday, I ran this combo on a 32-foot brush pile: spoon for the shad eaters, creatures for the craw eaters. Your December forage match cheat sheet: shad size 2 to 4 inch max, go smaller than you think. Craw size 3 to 4 inch max, want a compact profile. Top baits: small swim bait with the underspin, flutter spoon, blade bait, finesse craw, white or pearl or green pumpkin. Nothing else is needed. Your speed: a dying flutter or a dead crawl. No fast stuff. Here's your bonus: watch dying shad on top at takeoff. Whatever they look like, copy it. Keep 3 rods rigged and you've got 95% of winter covered. Water's cold, and most guys think the current is the enemy. Bass shut down when it's moving. Wrong. Current is your best friend this month, if you know where to fish the slack behind it. Today, we're talking current breaks. The sweet spots behind the rocks, logs, laydowns, bluff edges, or wing dams where bass hide out of the flow but still get FedEx delivery of every crawdad and shad that tumbles past. Here's the deal. In 40-degree water, bass do not want to sit in heavy current and burn calories, but they also don't want to be a mile away from the grocery store. So they do exactly what we would. They sit in the living room, the slack pocket, while the groceries float right past the front door on the conveyor belt, the current seam. All you have to do is put a bait where the moving water slams into the still water. The fish are already lined up like it's Black Friday. Kind of current breaks I'm living on right now. Big laydown logs or root wads with an eddy pocket downstream. Boulder fields or riprap points that stick out and kill the flow behind them. Bluff ends where the wall juts out and creates a shadow line. Wing dams or old road beds that rise up and deflect the current. Creek channel bends where the inside corner goes dead slack. Depth range, 8 to 30 feet. The deeper the water, the subtler the break can be and still hold fish. Baits that are great in current breaks this week: football or finesse jig with a small craw trailer. Drag or hop along the seam. A Demiki rig with a 3 to 4 inch shad imitator. Hover it in the slack. A Ned rig or small tube. Dead stick it right on the break line. Retrieve is dead simple. Cast upstream of the break. Let the bait swing down with the current seam like the groceries on the belt. And when it hits the slack, stop. Let it sit 10 to 30 seconds. Most bites happen the second it goes from moving to dead still. Last Friday on the Columbia River Trail Race, I pulled up behind one submerged tree in about 22 feet. The current was ripping. I threw a 1/2 ounce jig upstream, let it pendulum down the seam, fish on the first 3 seconds of the pause. Moved down the same break and caught 8 more in 45 minutes. The same pattern works on every moving lake water in the country right now. Think current killed that bite? Only if you fish in it instead of behind it. Your December current break cheat sheet. Look for slack water immediately downstream or behind an object. Depth, 8 to 30 feet. Deeper is usually better. Baits, a jig, Demiki rig, Ned, tube, small profile with natural colors. Cast, upstream or up current, let it swing into the eddy. The key moment, the pause when the bait goes from moving to dead. That's when they eat. Here's a bonus. Slight stain plus 1 to 3 mile an hour flow is absolute fire. Find the break, serve dinner, collect checks. Water's 41 and the sky is super blue. Everybody's at home drinking hot chocolate saying, too cold, too bright, bass are deep. Wrong. Today is exactly when you need to be on the water. We're talking the clearest, coldest, sunniest days of December. The ones that look miserable but actually pull bass shallow like a magnet. Here's what actually happens on a bright day. The sun is low, but it's direct. Dark rocks, stumps, and chunk gravel soak up heat like blacktop parking lots. Water along south or west-facing banks warms 1, maybe 2 degrees in just a couple hours. To a bass in 41-degree water, that's the difference between couch mode and lunch mode. They'll slide up from 25 to 35 feet all the way to 4 to 12 to sit in the sun-warmed zones, chase crawdads that got active, and smash anything that moves slow. I've seen water temps jump from 40 degrees at 9 a.m. to 44 degrees by 2 p.m. on the exact same rock pile. And the fish go from negative at dawn to smashing by noon. My Sunshine shallow kit right now. A 3/8 to half-ounce football or finesse jig. I love green pumpkin or brown. Dragged on a sun-baked rock. A Ned rig with a 2.8-inch TRD on a 1/8-ounce head. Deadsticked in pockets. A suspending jerkbait, ghost minnow or pro blue, or the same rock for cruisers. Spots that fire on clear days. South-facing chunk rock or riprap banks. Dark bottom flats 6 to 15 feet deep with stumps or brush. Secondary points that catch sun all afternoon. Dock corners or boathouse shadows that suddenly get light at noon. One trip out, it was 28 degrees of takeoff, a high blue sky. I waited till 10:30 a.m., pulled up on a south-facing bluff bank that went from 8 feet to 30 feet. Water on the rocks about 43 degrees. 4 hours, 17 keepers, best 5, 21-4, all between 6 and 12 feet of water. Same bank the day before under clouds, 2 short fish all day. Sunshine flipped the switch. Your Sunshine cheat sheet. Weather, high pressure, clear sky, light wind equals money. Time window, 10:30 to 3:30 p.m. Let the rocks heat first. Depth, 4 to 15 feet on dark bottom or south banks. Baits, a jig, a Ned, or jerkbait. Slow is still king. Your key sign. Watch for surface temps rising 1 degree on your graph or more. Your bonus. Most of us already know this, but polarized glasses are awesome. You'll see the fish following. You can see them setting up if the water's clear enough. When the sun's out and the bass are closer than you think. Water temps are locked in the low 40s, and the number one question I get right now is, how do I fish this watercolor? Because one lake is gin clear, the next is chocolate milk, and the river arm looks like cream coffee. The truth? Clarity changes everything. Depth, color, bait size, even speed. But once you know the 3 rules, you'll never stare at the water wondering what to tie on again. 5 minutes that will save you hours of guesswork. Let's break it down like we're looking at your live well together. Rule 1, gin clear water, 3+ feet of visibility. Bass get spooky and go deep or tight to heavy cover. Depth, 15 to 40 feet. Colors, ghost minnow, pro blue, smoked pearl, natural greens. Baits, suspending jerkbait, finesse jig, drop shot, Demiki rig, flutter spoon, all work great. Speed, glacial pauses. Let it sit in their face. I'm talking 20-second pauses on the jerkbait, dead sticking a Ned and brush, sometimes even longer. Rule number 2, lightly stained, 1 to 3 feet of visibility. This is sweet spot water, my favorite. Depth, 8 to 25 feet. Colors, green pumpkin, watermelon red, anything with a little chartreuse tint. Baits, football jig, Texas rig creature, small swim bait, blade bait are all awesome. Your speed, still slow, but you can hop a little more. This is the water where a half-ounce green pumpkin jig dragged through brush is absolute money. Rule number 3, muddy or heavy stain. Talking less than a foot of visibility. Bass push shallow and get aggressive because they can't see danger. Depth, 2 to 10 feet. Colors, black blue, chartreuse, black and red, or fire crawl red. Baits, spinnerbait, slow rolled, square bill, 3/4 ounce jig, or a loud lipless rattle trap. Speed, slowest steady retrieve you can stand. Blades barely turning. I was out on a blown out river arm. I threw a half-ounce chartreuse and black spinnerbait parallel to riprap in 4 feet of muddy water and caught 11 in 2 hours. Same lake 2 days earlier when it was clear, nothing. What the heck am I doing different? If you asked me that, I'd point right to the black and blue jig and say, match the visibility, not the calendar. Your December clarity cheat sheet. Tape this to the inside of your console. Clear equals go deep, go natural, go finesse. Lightly stained equals 8 to 25 feet, green pumpkin, everything. Muddy, 2 to 10 feet, loud, dark, slow roll. Always carry 1 rod of each setup. Switch in 30 seconds instead of 30 minutes when you've noticed the water clarity. Know the watercolor, know the pattern. Simple. There you go. Stop guessing and start matching clarity like a pro. Next time you pull up to the ramp, look at the water for 5 seconds, grab the right rod, and go catch them.
The lake looks like a desert, and 90% of the boats come back with 1 or 2 fish if they're lucky. Meanwhile, I'm marking schools that look like Christmas trees and catching limits. The difference? Knowing exactly how to locate winter bass schools instead of blind casting hope. The 3 places they stack. The 2 graph clues that scream, fish here. And the idiot-proof search plan that works every lake in the country right now. The first truth. You either find the pack, or you catch one here, one there, and go home cold. The only 3 places I look. 1, deep main lake structure that touches bait. Main lake points that roll off into 40+ feet. Humps or road beds that top out at 25 to 35 feet. Sharp creek channel swings closest to the dam. Number 2, standing timber or brush in 20 to 40 feet, especially if it's near a channel. Number 3, ledges or bluff ends where the bottom drops straight off the planet. And that's literally it. Everything else is a waste of gas in December. 2 graph clues that make me kill the big motor every single time. 1, the snowstorm cloud hugging the bottom equals shad or a big bait ball. 2, the big arches or half moons mixed in with that cloud. That's bass eating the buffet. When you see both on the same screen, mark the spot, back off, and fish it. Don't overthink it. My search routine that never fails. Start at the mouth of the biggest creek arm near the dam. Idle parallel to the channel in 40 to 50 feet, side imaging and down imaging on. I cover water until I mark bait and bass, then circle back and dissect it. I can search an entire lower lake section in 45 minutes and usually find 3 to 5 legit schools. Schools or skunks, that's December. Your school locating cheat sheet. Only fish structure that touches deep water. Look for a bait cloud plus big marks together. Use side down imaging to cover water. Live scope if you have it to confirm it. Depths 20 to 45 feet. Deeper on sunny high pressure days. Once you find one school, idle a 200-yard circle. There's almost always another nearby. Find the pack, park on it, and catch a bunch. Simple. Most guys are beating flats and points, praying for a bite. I'm parked on vertical stuff, putting them in the boat. Today, me and you, we're talking about why fishing straight up and down structure, bluffs,
bridge pilings, standing timber on steep banks is the deadliest pattern nobody's talking about. Here's why. Vertical structure is damn good. 1, temperature stability. Deep water right at the bank means 0 temperature swing. 2, instant depth access. Bass can sit at 35 feet, slide up to 8 feet in minutes if the sun hits. Number 3, overhead cover. Timber trunks or rock overhangs make them feel safe when the water's clear and bright. Number 4, current breaks. On rivers or during generation, the wall kills flow and creates an elevator shaft of slack water. The result? Giant schools parked tight to the wood or rock like apartments on a high-rise. You can catch 5+ fish off one single tree or 150-yard stretch or bluff. My vertical structure arsenal right now. A 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce silver flutter spoon or blade bait, drop it straight down the trunk line. 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce football jig, love green pumpkin or brown, with small crawl trailers, yo-yo or dead drag beside the trunks. A Demiki rig or a 3.8 Kitech on a 1/2 ounce head if they want shad. Technique is super easy. Position the boat in 40 to 60 feet, cast to the wall or timber tops, let it pendulum straight down the face, then work it vertically. Count it down past the trunks, then slow hop or stroke it back up. Most bites come within 5 feet of a trunk or rock ledge. A tournament a few Decembers back, high sky, sunny day, everyone's on points and humps grinding hard for bites. I run to a forgotten bluff with the flooded timber leaning off it. Downscan looked like someone poured marbles down the trunks. Vertical jigged and spooned my way to a limit in 45 minutes. The biggest was a 6'9", came straight up the wall like an elevator. I remember somebody asked me where I was hiding, and I pointed to my bag and said the same place where these guys were. Kind of got a side eye on that one. Your vertical structure cheat sheet. Look for 45-degree plus banks with timber, rock ledges, or bridge pilings. Depth zone, fish 10 to 40 feet down wall. Baits, spoon, jig, Demiki, all heavy enough to go straight down. Your boat position, stay in deep water, cast shallow. Bonus, sunny afternoons or light generation equals they slide higher on the wall. Find one good wall and you can wear them out. The bass are in full negative mode. I used to think cold water equals big jig too, until the fish humbled me. Now my best winter days on pressured lakes are on spinning gear and tiny baits. Today is straight up proof. Finesse rigs are flat out cheating in winter. My current they can't say no finesse menu. Number 1, the drop shot. 1/4 to 3/8 ounce tungsten weight. Tungsten because you can feel a whole heck of a lot better than lead. With a number 1 or number 2 mosquito hook. 4 to 5 inch straight tail worm, green pumpkin, morning dawn, or a natural shad color. 6 to 8 pound floral leader. Number 2, the shaky head. A 1/8 to 1/4 ounce ball or spot remover head with a 4 to 6 inch finesse worm or your favorite straight tail worm in those natural colors. Number 3, the Ned rig. A 1/10 to 1/4 ounce Ned head, TRD, a Zinkers, or a 2 3/4 inch crawl, green pumpkin, or the deal. Your line, you're looking at an 8 to 10 pound braid to a 6 to 8 pound floral leader on spinning gear, of course. You want a sensitive rod and light wire hooks. You feel everything and they inhale it. Where I'm killing them right now. Deep brush piles in 25 to 40 feet. Rock transitions on main lake points. Gravel or shell bed flats 15 to 30 feet. Around standing timber trunks. Your retrieve, dead slow shake or straight up dead stick. I'll shake the rod tip for 5 to 8 seconds and then let it sit for 30 to 60 seconds. The bite is usually just wait, reel down and swing. Some people think you can't do work on a spinning rod, but you know what? Finesse don't care about your ego. Your December finesse cheat sheet. When? Post front, clear water, heavy fishing pressure, or when big baits only get follows. Your line, 6 to 8 pound fluoro, no heavier. Weights, 1/8 to 3/8 ounce max. You want it to fall slow. Action, tiny shakes plus long dead sticks, 30, 60, 90 seconds long. Bonus, nose hook, everything. More bites, easier hook sets. Carry one spinning setup, it will save half your winter trips. Finesse isn't weak, it's winter deadly. Water's locked into the low 40s and your bass could be glued to one thing: deep contours. Not random deep water, specific break lines, ledges, and subtle depth changes that act like highways and buffet tables rolled into one. Today, me and you were talking about how to find, follow, and fish deep contours when everything feels dead. Here's why contours are crack. They're the transition zone between shallow, too cold, and super deep, no food. Bass cruise them like a sidewalk, feeding on crawdads on the top edge or shad suspended just off the drop. One good contour can hold fish for miles. My 3 favorite December contours right now: 1, the first major break off long main lake points, 12 to 18 foot top and drops to 30 plus. 2, creek channel ledges that swing close to the bank, inside bends are gold. Number 3, old road beds or ditch lines that run parallel to the channel in 18 to 35 feet. I idle parallel in 45 to 60 feet, side imaging on, looking for any irregularity: rock piles, stumps, hard spots, or bait. When I see structure on the line, I mark waypoints every 50 to 75 yards and run it like a highway. Go-to contour baits this week: a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce football jig. You know I love green pumpkin and brown. Slow drag on the top edge. Carolina rig with a 3 to 4 inch lizard or French fry worm. You can cover water fast and find the sweet spot. A 1/2 ounce blade bait or spoon. Stroke it when they're suspended or just off the drop. Retrieve is simple. Stay in contact with the bottom. Move the bait 6 to 18 inches at a time. Pause 10 to 20 seconds. The bite is almost always on the pause. Here's a quick one. Out with a buddy a few years ago, we were doing a mock tourney in separate boats. A high sky, sunny day. He's beating vertical timber, getting 1 bite an hour. I run to a long ditch contour that parallels the river channel in about 22 to 35 feet. Carolina rigged a French fry worm down the break. I limited by 10:30, with the biggest being a 6'11". My guy goes, "You never moved." I didn't have to. The fish were all on the same road. Your deep contour cheat sheet. Look for a 10 to 20 foot top edge dropping to 30 plus feet. Tools: side imaging plus live scope if you have it, or a good contour map. Baits: football jig, Carolina rig, or a blade bait. Speed: crawl. If you're going faster than a tired turtle, slow down. Here's your bonus: wind-blown contours first, current loads bait on them. Find the road, follow the road, load the boat. We have a high bluebird sky, and every text I'm getting says, "It's too bright, it's too cold, I'm staying home." Meanwhile, I'm fixing to wear out 4 and 5 pounders while I'm sitting in 6 to 12 feet of water. Today is the winter cheat code nobody wants to admit works. The warmest rocks on the lake are absolute fire when the sun is out. Here's what's actually happening on a sunny day. Dark chunk rock, riprap, or stumps soak up heat like a black frying pan. Water along that bank warms 2 to 4 degrees higher than the main lake in just a few hours. Crawdads get active, shad slide up to warm, and bass move shallow to feed and loaf like it's March. One south or west-facing bank can go from 40 degrees at 9 to 45 degrees by 2. That's a 5-degree swing in winter. Money. I wait until the sun has been hammering the rocks for at least 3 hours, usually 10:30, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then hit south-facing chunk rock bluff, riprap causeways or dam faces getting direct sun. stump flats or laydowns on dark bottom pockets that face the sun. Baits I'm smoking them with this week. 3/8 to half ounce football jig. You know, I love green pumpkin or brown. Slow drag it and kill it in the pockets. Ned rig or shaky head. Deadstick on sun-warmed gravel. Square bill or lipless. Red or chartreuse if the water has any stain to it. Here's a quick one for you. A buddy texted me last year on a postcard blue 28-degree day. And he's like, "You really fishing?" I sent him a live pic at 1 of a 7-2 beside the net on a sunny rock bank. He showed up an hour later with frozen eyebrows and still caught 4 over 4 pounds before dark. Now his rule is, if Travis says sunny banks, I'm going. Your sunny bank cheat sheet. Weather trigger. Clear sky plus low wind plus southwest exposure. Time window, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Let the rocks cook first. Depth, 4 to 15 feet on the warmest bank you can find. Baits, a jig, a Ned, or crankbait. Slow contact retrieves. Key sign, watch for surface temp rise of 2 degrees plus on your graph. Here's a bonus. Chunk rock is better than riprap, which is better than stumps. The darkest bottom wins. When the sun is out, the fish are closer than you think. The bass are hypersensitive. They can feel a heavy rattle or big blade from 3 counties away. And most of the time, it scares them worse than a boat motor. Today is a rule I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. Add vibrations sparingly and only when the water actually needs it. Here's the simple truth. In clear to lightly stained water, 2 feet plus visibility, go dead silent. 90% of my December fish come on plain jigs, Ned rigs, or silent soft plastics. In murky or muddy water, less than 18 inches of visibility, a tiny bit of vibration can be the trigger. Keep it small and subtle. My only when it's dirty vibration menu. 1, light glass rattle, 3/8 to half ounce jig. 1 small rattle, not the double BB monsters. 2, 1/4 to 3/8 ounce chatterbait with a baby shad or 3-inch trailer, trimmed skirt, tiny blade. 3, my favorite, an underspin with a 3.3 Kai Tech or similar paddle tail and a single small willow leaf blade, not a big Colorado blade. That's it. Anything louder is overkill and costs bites. Why? Cold water bass feel vibration through their lateral line way better than warm water. A big rattling jig sounds like a dinner bell in July. In December, it sounds like a fire alarm. I've watched fish on live scope follow a loud rattle jig and bolt the second it got close. Silence is often the loudest call in December. Your vibration cheat sheet. Tape this inside the boat. For clear water, 0 added sound. Plain jig, a Ned, or a drop shot. Lightly stained. Maybe 1 tiny glass rattle or an underspin. Murky or muddy water, light rattle jig or a smaller chatterbait. Rule of thumb, if you can see your bait 2 feet down, take the rattle out. Here's your bonus. When in doubt, go silent first. You could always add sound later. Less noise equals more bites. The fish are in full stare mode. Sometimes they'll track a bait for 30 feet and won't commit. Unless you give them the one thing they can't resist, the perfect dead pause. Today, we're dialing in the pause game. 10 to 30 second holds on spoons and suspending jerkbaits that turn cold water followers into rod doublers. Here's the cold truth. In 40-degree water, a moving bait gets attention, but a perfectly still bait gets eaten. The lateral line screams easy meal the second everything stops. My 2 pause weapons right now. 1, a 3/4 to 1 ounce flutter spoon in silver, white, or gold. Number 2, a suspending jerkbait. Megabass 110, Pointer 100, or Megabass Vision 110 plus 1. Tuned, dead, level. The magic is in the countdown. Early morning or post front, start with 20 to 30-second pauses. Midday sun or a slight stain, 10 to 15 seconds often wins. If they follow but don't eat, add 5 more seconds every cast until that rod loads. Retrieve looks like this. Spoon. Let it helicopter down on slackline, stroke it once or twice, then freeze and count. A jerkbait. 3 sharp rips, slackline, then count out loud. 12, 13, 14, thump. If you're on the bank, this pattern is actually easier from shore. Find any deep access, dam riprap, bridge piling clusters, or a steep roadbed bank that drops quick. Use a 1/2 to 3/4 ounce spoon or a deep diving jerkbait like the Mega Bass 110+1. Cast parallel down the rocks. Let it get deep. Then do the exact same countdown pauses. I've stood on public lake dams with nothing but a spoon rod and caught 8 to 10 keepers in 2 hours, just by counting to 25 between strokes. The fish are right under your feet. You just have to give them time to decide. A few years ago, I tried my hand at guiding. I was out with a dad, his teenage son, on a freezing December morning. The kid's throwing a jerkbait, pausing 5 to 6 seconds, getting follows like crazy. Dad's getting frustrated. I tell the kid, count to 20 out loud on the next cast. He does. 17, 18, boom, rod doubles. 4-pound smallmouth comes to the rail. Next 3 casts, same pause, 3 more 4-pounders. Dad looks at me and goes, I've been fishing for 40 years and never seen anything like that. The kid just smiles and says, Uncle Travis said count slow. Still one of my favorite memories. Your December pause duration cheat sheet. Start at 15 seconds. Adjust up or down 5 seconds per cast. Colder post front equals longer pauses, then 20 to 35 seconds. Warmer sun or stain, shorter, 8 to 15 seconds. Always count out loud. It'll keep you honest. And here's your bank bonus. Parallel cast along steep structure and long pauses. Same bites, 0 boat needed. The fish will tell you the magic number. Just listen with your line. The bass have one favorite road, the old river or creek channel. While everyone's scattered looking for brush or points, I'm just following the highway and loading the boat. Today, straight console talk, working river channels and why they're bass magnets, how to find the sweet spots, and the slow baits that turn channel runners into limits. Here's why river creek channels own December. They're the deepest, most stable water nearby. No wild temperature swings. Shad and craws migrate along them like an interstate. Bass use the bends and irregularities as rest stops and ambush points. One good channel can hold fish from the dam all the way to the back. The money spots I'm living on right now. Number 1, sharp inside bends where the creek channel swings close to the bank. Number 2, places the channel brushes a secondary point or stump row. 3, junctions where 2 channels merge. 4, any hard bottom change, gravel to clay, rock to mud, on the edge. I idle the channel in 40 to 50 feet with side imaging on, marking every bend, stump, or bait cloud. Then I fish the 12 to 35 foot edges like I'm on a milk run. Go-to channel baits this week. A 1/2 to 3/4 ounce football jig, love my green pumpkin or brown. You slow drag it on the edge. A 3/4 ounce flutter spoon or blade bait, vertical or stroke along the drop. A Carolina rig with a 4 to 5 inch French fry worm. Cover water and find that sweet depth. Your retrieve is ultra slow. Drag or hop, 6 to 12 inches, pause for 15 to 30 seconds. Bites come on the pause 90% of the time. And if you're on the bank, river channels are some of the best bank beating patterns out there. Look for public access where a road or trail crosses a creek arm, or walk dam faces and riprap that run parallel to the old channel. Use the same football jig or 1/2 ounce Texas rigged worm. Cast straight out or down the bank as far as you can and crawl it back along the drop. I walked miles of damn riprap following the channel swings with nothing but boots and a jig rod. Limits of 4 to 6 pounders are absolutely possible when you stay on the edge and fish glacial flow. Your river channel cheat sheet. Look for bends, junctions, stump rows, hard bottom on the edge. Depth zone. Fish 12 to 35 foot edges. Baits. Football jig, spoon, Carolina rig. Your speed. Crawl and long pauses. Channel runners are lazy. Here's your bank bonus. Dam riprap, creek mounts, or road crossings that touch the channel. Find the road, milk the road, and load the rod. Bass aren't hiding. They're glued to the grocery store. Today is the simplest pattern of the whole month. Targeting bait concentrations. Find the shad or bait balls, and the bass are literally stacked in the same screen. Shad and minnows are dying off or schooling tight in deep water. Bass don't roam. They park on the biggest buffet they can find and eat easy. The bait balls I'm living on right now show up as thick gray snowstorm clouds on down imaging or traditional sonar. Tight, football-shaped marks hovering 1 to 10 feet off the bottom and 20 to 45 feet. Usually near structure, channel swings, brush tops, standing timber, or road beds. When you mark a big cloud and see big arcs mixed in or right under it, kill the big motor. That's dinner and the customers are in one spot. My routine. Start near the dam or lower lake creek arms. Idle grids in 40 to 60 feet with side and down imaging on. I'm not looking for bass first. I'm hunting bait. Once I mark a legit cloud, I circle and dissect it slow. Baits that clean up on bait balls this week. A 3/4 to 1 ounce flutter spoon, silver or white, drop through the cloud. A Demiki or 1/2 ounce jig head with a 3 to 4 inch Kitech or shad imitator, hover it in the ball. 3/8 ounce underspin with a 3.3 swim bait. Slow reel it just under the shad. Presentation is dead simple. Get the bait in the cloud or right under it and move it slower than the dying shad. Bites come on the fall or the first few turns. Bait ball equals cheat code. And listen, if you're on the bank, bait concentrations are still your best friend. You just need access to deep water close to shore. Look for public dams, riprap points, or marina break walls that drop quick into 30 feet. Shad will stack tight to those rocks on windy or generation days. Use a 1/2 to 3/4 ounce spoon or a 3.3, 3.8 Kitech on a 3/8 ounce head. Cast as far as you can. Let it sink deep into the cloud you see flickering. Then yo-yo or slow reel it back. I've stood on dams in December and watched the shad ball flicker 40 feet out. Then caught 8 to 12 keepers in an afternoon just by keeping my bait in the bait. No boat required. Find the groceries, find the fish, works everywhere. Your bait concentration cheat sheet. Look for thick gray clouds plus big arcs together. Your depth, 20 to 45 feet, usually near structure or channels. Baits, spoon, Demiki or underspin, small swim bait. Your key, get in the ball or right under it. Slow presentation. Here's your bank bonus. Dams, riprap, or steep points with visible shad flicker. Find the buffet, park on it, eat good. Water's 39, 42 degrees, and the bass are lazier than I am on a Sunday morning. Today, we're talking the laziest, deadliest technique in winter fishing. Dead sticking in deep water. That's right, cast it out. Let it sit completely still for 1 to 3 minutes or longer, and let the fish come to you. Here's why dead sticking is winter crack. In 40-degree water, bass don't want to chase anything. A bait that just sits on the bottom looks like a crawdad that gave up or a dying shad. Zero energy required to eat. The longer it sits, the more time a negative fish has to swim over and inhale it. My dead stick setup right now. A 1/2 to 3/4 ounce tungsten bullet weight with a 4 to 6 inch creature bait or straight tail worm in green pumpkin, black blue flake, Texas rigged. Same colors and a 3/8 to ½ ounce football jig with a small trailer. Heavy fluoro, 15 to 20 pounds, so it sinks fast and stays put. Max scent plastics or bait fuel scent added. The technique: cast to deep brush, channel edges, rock piles, or timber in 20 to 45 feet. Line it to the bottom, set the rod down and wait. I'll count 60 to 180 seconds, sometimes more, before even touching it. Shake it once or twice if you get bored, then let it die again. The bite is usually just the line going heavy or the rod tip loading slow. And if you're bank fishing, deadsticking is actually made for you. You've got all the time in the world. Find any deep access, dam riprap, steep roadbed banks, or bridge corners that drop quick. Use the exact same ½ to ¾ ounce Texas rig or football jig. Cast as far out as you can in deep water, let it hit the bottom, then prop your rod up on a rock or fork stick and wait. I've watched bank guys on public lakes set up chairs out on deep riprap, dead sticking for 2 to 5 minutes each, and catching limits while the rest of us were wearing our arms out. Patience is the only boat you need. Here's a quick one. A couple years ago, I'm bank fishing a local reservoir dam with my dad. Ice on the guides, 29 degrees air temperature. We're both throwing the same ½ ounce Texas rigged max scent creature. He's shaking and hopping his like normal. I cast mine out, prop the rod on a chunk of concrete, and start eating a sandwich. 4 minutes later, rod's doubled over. 6-pound largemouth comes sliding up the rocks. Dad looks at me like I cheated. Next cast, I do the same thing, and another one comes up while I'm tying his knot for him. By the end of the day, he's dead sticking too, and we've got about 8 keepers between us. He calls it Travis's lazy man pattern. Your December dead stick cheat sheet. Depth: 20 to 45 feet on brush, rock, timber, or channel edges. Rig: heavy Texas or football jig with scent. Peg the weight so it stays put. Your wait time: 60 to 180 plus seconds. Colder or clearer equals longer. The bite feel: line goes heavy or tip loads slow. Don't set early. Bank bonus: prop the rod and wait. Works anywhere deep water meets the bank. Sometimes the best move is no move at all. If you're wondering where the big girls went, you've come to the right place. And while everyone's beating brush piles and channels, I'm quietly wearing out 4 to 7 pounders on one simple feature: rocky points. Today, we're going to be talking about why chunk rock points are the absolute best bass factories this month, exactly which ones to hit, and the slow baits that make them choke it. Here's why rocky points own December. Chunk rock holds heat better than anything else when the sun is out. Crawdads live in the cracks 365 days a year. The steep drop gives bass instant access from 8 feet to 40 feet, the perfect winter elevator. One good point can reload with new fish all day. The money points I'm living on right now. Number 1, long main lake points with basketball to cooler size rock. Number 2, secondary points inside major creek arms that still touch deep water. Number 3, any point with a sharp 15 to 30 foot break line and scattered stumps mixed in rock. I idled the 30 to 50 foot contour with side imaging on, marking every rock transition or stump, then fished the 10 to 30 foot zone like it's a milk run. Go to Rocky Point baits this month. A ½ to ¾ ounce football jig, green pumpkin or brown, peanut butter and jelly is good too, with a small craw trailer. A ¾ ounce flutter spoon or blade bait for suspended fish off the end. A 1/4 to 3/8 ounce Ned rig or shaky head when they're super negative on the rocks. Retrieve is glacial. Drag or hop 6 to 12 inches, pause 15 to 40 seconds. Most bites come the second the bait stops. Bank guys, same pattern works great from shore. Look for public land points, dam riprap, or roadbed points that drop quick into deep water. Use the exact same ½ ounce football jig or Ned rig. Fan cast from shallow to deep, then crawl it down the rock transitions. I've seen bank anglers on Highland Reservoir dams absolutely smoke limits just by working the first 30 to 40 yards off rocky points. The fish are right there if you can reach the drop. Your Rocky Point cheat sheet. Look for chunk rock and a steep drop and crawdad shells on the bank. Prime depth zone, 10 to 30 feet, shallower on sunny afternoons. Baits, football jig, spoon, or a Ned rig. Your speed, drag, long pause, and repeat. Here's your bonus. South-west exposure on sunny days is even better. Find good rock, stay on good rock, catch big fish. If you're getting short strikes or watching fish follow and ghost you, you've come to the right spot. Cold bass hold baits longer than any other month, which means scent is flat out cheating. Today, we're talking the easiest upgrade you can make, adding smell to your jigs, worms, and creature baits. Here's why scent is winter gold. Cold water slows everything. Bass taste and smell way longer before committing. A plain plastic smells like nothing. A scented one smells like dinner that's been marinating. In clear or heavily pressured water, scent is often the difference between a follow and a 6-pounder in the net. My current scent menu that's super good. 1. Coffee salt or garlic craw trailers. Number 2, Jack's juice, bait fuel, or spike it gel. Slather it on any trailer or worm. Number 3, baits with built-in scent. Personally love the Berkeley Power Bait Max Scent. I'll literally keep a bottle of Jack's juice in my jacket pocket and reapply every 4 to 5 casts. Takes 3 seconds, adds 5 to 10 fish a day. One December day out on a gin clear Highland Lake, I'm fishing a 32-foot brush pile. Plain jigs get 4 follows, 0 eats. I switched the exact same jig with a coffee salt craw soaked in garlic gel. The next 8 drops, 7 fish, best 5 went over 24 pounds. Same spot, same presentation, the only difference was smell. And check this out, bank anglers, scent is your superpower. You're usually fishing high-pressure public water where boat guys have already shown the fish every plain bait in the box. Dip your Ned, Texas rig, or jig trailer in garlic or cross scent every few casts. It turns 1 bite spots into multiple bite spots. I watched guys on crowded park ponds in December go from skunked with plain plastics, while the dude next to them using scented max scent catches 5 because the fish held onto it 2 seconds longer. A cheap bottle, a huge difference. Your scent cheat sheet. When to use it: in clear water, heavy pressure, post front, or when you're getting short strikes. Best scents: garlic, coffee, crawfish, shad. Your application: soak trailers overnight or re-dip them every 4 to 5 casts. Bonus baits: anything max scent. Just match what you're trying to throw, whether it's a creature or a trailer, in that same max scent variation, and your money. Bank bonus: 1 $6 bottle of Jack's juice lasts all winter and pays for itself the first trip. Scent doesn't replace good fishing, it just makes good fishing better. If you're driving past marinas thinking, those are summer spots, wrong. The deepest docks on the lake are absolute wolf pack hotels right now. Today, we're talking deep dock fishing in winter. Why the fish move in, exactly which slips to hit, and the slow, sneaky presentations that make them eat when it's freezing. Here's why deep docks are December cheat codes. Instant 30 to 50 foot depth with 0 current. Perfect stable winter condo. Floating docks create a ceiling that traps heat and blocks light when the sun's low. Shad and bluegills school under the walkways. Crawdads hide in the cable brush. Big females stack 2 to 4 per slip like apartments. One good dock can have 10 plus keepers. The money docks I'm living on. 1. The very last row farthest from the ramp. Got the deepest water. Number 2. Docks with brush or cables hanging 15 to 30 feet deep. Number 3, covered slips on the shady side, north facing. Fish will stay there all day. 4, any dock sitting over an old roadbed or channel drop. I idle the outside edge with side imaging on. Mark the deepest pilings and any brush hanging off the cables. Then skip or pitch quiet. Go-to deep dock baits this month. A 3/8 to ½ ounce finesse or casting jig. I like green pumpkin or black and blue, depending on your water clarity, plus a small craw trailer. Drop shot with a 4 to 5 inch straight tail worm, 1/4 to 3/8 ounce weight. Nose hook it. A 3/8 ounce underspin or Demiki rig with a 3.3 Kai Tech or similar paddle tail swim bait for the suspended fish. Presentation is whisper, quiet, and glacial. Skip way back under the walkway, let it pendulum straight down the cable or piling, then dead stick or tiny shakes. Pause 20 to 60 seconds between movements. Bites feel like the line just got heavier. Bank anglers, you can crush deep docks too. Just find public marinas or boat ramps with courtesy docks that drop quick. Walk the outermost finger, use the same ½ ounce jig or drop shot, skip it under the walkway as far as you can, and work it straight down the pilings. I've seen guys on Kentucky Lake public docks catch 20 plus fish in the morning just by fishing the shady side of a courtesy dock with a drop shot. No boat, no problem. Your deep dock cheat sheet. Target: deepest row, covered slips, cables with brush hanging deep. Depth zone: fish 15 to 40 feet down the pilings. Baits: jig, drop shot, Demiki, or underspin. Your speed: skip quiet, dead stick long. They spook easy under docks. Your bonus: low light or cloudy days, they'll sit higher. Sunny days, go deeper. Here's your pro move. Mark your best slips with a private waypoint. They reload year after year. If you're tired of casting all day for 3 bites, you're in the right spot. The bass are glued to tiny sweet spots. 1 stump, 1 rock, 1 brush top. Today, we're talking the most precise, arm-saving, fish-catching way to fish winter. Vertical jigging with blade baits and bucktail jigs. Drop it straight down, work it in a 5-foot circle, and load the boat or bank without ever making another cast. Why vertical jigging is super good. 0 wasted casts. You're always in the strike zone. Perfect for suspended or bottom-hugging fish in 20 to 50 feet. You can work 1 piece of cover for 20 minutes and catch 10 fish instead of hoping they're home when you cast. My 2 vertical hammers right now. Number 1, a ½ to 3/4 ounce blade bait. Steel shad, a Demiki vault, a Binsky's good, silver or white. Number 2, a 3/8 to ½ ounce bucktail jig or marabou jig, white, chartreuse white. These are absolutely deadly on smallmouth. Your line: 10 to 14 pound braid to a 10-pound fluoro leader. Straight down, no stretch, feel everything. The technique is super simple. Hover over the target, brush top, rock pile, stump or channel drop. Drop the bait straight down on a semi-tight line. Let it hit the bottom, lift 12 to 24 inches, let it flutter back 5 to 15 seconds, and repeat. Most bites come on the fall or the first 2 seconds of the pause. Rod will feel just like weight. Reel down and then swing. Earlier this month, I parked on 1 38-foot deep brush pile. Vertical jigged a ½ ounce blade bait for 45 minutes. 9 keepers. Could have weighed in about a 25-pound bag. The biggest was a 7.2 smallmouth. Beautiful fish. Didn't move the boat once. If I was hitting the same pile with a casting jig, wouldn't have been nearly as good. Vertical equals precision surgery. And check this out. If you're on the bank, vertical jigging is one of the few deep patterns you can almost perfectly duplicate from shore. Find any public dam, bridge, or high bluff wall that drops straight into 30 plus feet of water. Use the same half-ounce blade or bucktail, drop it straight down the face, and yo-yo it in place. I've stood on dam riprap with a blade bait hanging 35 feet under my rod tip and caught 12 fish in 2 hours. Same pattern, just no trolling motor needed. Your vertical jig cheat sheet. Targets, brush tops, isolated rocks, standing timber trunks, channel drops. Your depth, 20 to 50 feet, deeper on sunny or high pressure days. Your baits, a half-ounce blade bait or a half-ounce bucktail marabou jig. Cadence, lifts 12 to 24 inches, free fall, pause 5 for 15 seconds. Your boat position, stay directly over the cover, hover it like a drone. Here's your bonus. Add a small stinger hook or scent if they're short striking. Vertical jigging turns hours of searching into minutes of catching. It's winter waters, 38 to 42 degrees, and everybody thinks bank fishing dies this month. Lies. I cut my teeth bank fishing farm ponds and public dams in the dead of winter. And some of my biggest bags ever have come on foot. Here are my 7 non-negotiable December bank rules. Number 1, fish the steepest, deepest access you can drive or walk to. Dams, bridges, riprap, spillway walls, high bluff banks that drop into 30 plus feet of water. The fish live deep. You need to reach them. Number 2, fish the sunny or wind-blown side first. South, southwest, west-facing rocks warm the fastest. Wind pushes bait to one bank. The bass will follow. Number 3, downsize and slow everything way down. 3/8 to half-ounce jigs, quarter-ounce Ned or drop shot, half-ounce blade baits, crawl, dead stick, count to 30 between hops. Number 4, carry 3 rods. Never retie on the rocks. Rod number 1, have a half-ounce football or finesse jig. Rod number 2, half-ounce blade bait or a spoon for vertical or long casts. Rod number 3, a drop shot or a Ned on spinning gear. 5, use the clock method. 12 casts per spot, then move. Fan cast like a clock face around you. If nothing by cast 12, walk another 50 to 100 yards or to the next juicy looking spot I'm about to talk about. 6, focus on transitions. Rock to clay, big to small rock, shade line to sun. That's where they sit. Number 7, fish the warmest hours. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Let the rocks heat up, then go beat on them. I've turned total skunks into 20 fish days just by showing up late. Last Saturday, I wanted to leave the boat at home, so I walked the local dam with these exact 7 rules. Sunny side, half-ounce green pumpkin jig, clock method, long pauses. Caught 14 keepers from 9:30 to 2. Best 5 went 23.6, with the biggest being over 6 pounds. All within 200 yards of the parking lot. I'll never forget the December I was 19, no boat, broke, fishing a public dam on Christmas break. It was 28 degrees outside, wind was howling. Walked in with 1 jig rod and a pocket full of half-ounce jigs. Fished one, maybe 100-yard stretch of riprap from 11 a.m. to unknowingly at the time using almost every rule I just gave you. Caught 20 plus keepers. One was for sure a double-digit fish, too. Released all of them, of course. Still one of my best single days I've ever had on foot. Boat or no boat, December bank fishing can be super good if you follow the rules. Quick bait beater recap to burn into your brain. Number 1, deep access only. Number 2, sun or wind side. Number 3, downsize and glacial speed. Number 4, 3 pre-rigged rods. Number 5, use the clock method. 12 casts max. 6, fish transitions. And 7, warmest hours of the day. Tape that list inside your tackle box. If you're still throwing 6-inch swim baits in 40-degree water and wondering why nothing's eating, you've come to the right spot. The bass have gone full picky eater mode. Why small swim baits are super good. Shad and minnows are dying and shrinking. Most are 2 to 4 inches max. Cold bass want calories. They don't want to have to chase too far. A small profile with a big boot tail still gives thump and flash without overpowering them. The colder the water, the harder the plastic gets. So that normal erratic kick slows to a death knell. My money setups right now. 1. A 2.8 to 3.8 inch Kitech fat swing impact or easy shiner on a 1/4 to 1/2 ounce ball head or underspin. Number 2, a 2.5 to 3.5 inch Rapala Crush City Mayor on a 3/8 ounce head. 3. My favorite colors: Pro Blue, Electric Shad, Sexy Shad, Smoked Pearl, Ghost Colors, and Clearwater. Your retrieve menu, all slower than you think. Ultra slow, steady reel, barely turning the handle. Reel, stop, reel with 5 to 10 second pauses. Yo-yo off the bottom like a dying bait fish. And check this out. If you're fishing from the bank, guys, small swim baits are perfect for you too. Any dam, riprap point, or steep bank that drops into deep water, cast the same 3.3 to 3.8 inch Kitech on a 3/8 ounce head as far as you can. Let it sink deep, then crawl or yo-yo it back up the rocks. I've watched bank anglers on public reservoirs absolutely hammer 5 to 6 pounders, doing nothing but slow rolling a little paddle tail down the dam face. The fish can't stand it. Your small swim bait cheat sheet. Size, 2.8 to 3.8 inches max. Smaller than you think. Head weight, 1/4 to 1/2 ounce depending on the depth and wind. Retrieve, glacial steady reel or a reel stop reel. Depth, 8 to 35 feet. Let it fall on slackline first. When to use, clear to lightly stained, post front, or when big baits are getting ignored. Here's your bonus. Add a touch of scent, watch the short strikes disappear. Downsize the bait, upsize the fish. The wind-blown banks can single-handedly turn dead winter days into the best fishing of the month. Today is all about why wind is your best friend in the cold. Exactly which banks to hit, and the 3 baits that make them choke it when it's blowing 15 to 30. Here's exactly why wind-blown banks own December. Number 1, wind pushes surface water, which creates a subtle current, which activates the bait. Number 2, stained water plus wave action equals basket bold and slide shallow to feed. 3, oxygen levels go up, metabolism kicks in, and they eat like it's pre-spawn. Number 4, everybody else hides in the calm creeks. You go get the grocery store to yourself. The money banks I'm living on right now. Long northwest or west banks getting the direct blow. Wind in the face equals gold. Chunk rock or rip-rap points that stick out into the wind. Bluff ends where the wind wraps and creates an eddy behind it. Any bank with dark rock or clay that stains quick. I run straight into the wind. Park in 15 to 30 feet and cast uphill into 2 to 12 feet of water. Go-to wind baits this month. A 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce square bill, red craw, chartreuse red, or chartreuse black. They deflect off the rocks. 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce football or casting jig. Brown, peanut butter and jelly, black, blue. Just pay attention to that water clarity. And a craw trailer. Drag the brakes. A 1/2 ounce chartreuse white or white spinnerbait. Slow rolled just under the surface. Your retrieve rule. Cast with the wind at your back, work it back into the chop. Let the bait stall in the wash, then crawl it out. Bites are about as violent as winter gets. Wind can turn a dead day into a personal best bag. And listen up, if you're fishing the bank, wind-blown banks are literally made for you. Find any public point, dam face, or causeway getting the direct wind. The rougher the water, the shallower the bass get. To a point, of course. They won't be up there with Hurricane Katrina bearing down on them. Use the exact same square bill, jig, or spinnerbait. Cast parallel to the rocks, let the wind push your bait back to you, and hang on. I've stood on wind-hammered dams in December with a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait and caught fish so hard you could have sworn it's spring. All while boat guys were hiding from it and getting skunked. Your wind-blown cheat sheet. Wind direction. Northwest, west is best. Whatever's blowing straight onto the rock. Watercolor, slight stain to muddy is perfect. Depth, 2 to 15 feet. The rougher the blow, the shallower they'll be. Baits, square bill, jig, spinnerbait. Here's a pro move. Fish the foam lines and eddies. That's the dinner plate. And here's your bonus. Dress warm, bring extra rods. You'll break one celebrating. Wind doesn't shut the bite down in winter, it turns it on. I mean, nothing is putting bigger bass in my boat faster than the heavy slab spoon. Today is the full clinic. Why spoons own cold water. Exactly how to work them and the spots that are absolutely loaded right now. Why slab spoons are winter killers. They fall like a rock. Get deep fast with zero casting effort. The flutter of the fall mimics a dying shad better than anything else. One spoon can trigger an entire school. Reaction bite city in cold water. My current spoon lineup. Number 1, a 3/4 to 1 ounce Hopkins Cotton Cordell or War Eagle. Chrome for clear, gold for stain. Number 2, 1/2 ounce for 15 to 25 feet, 3/4 to 1 ounce for 30 to 50 feet. 3, your line, 12 to 15 pound fluoro, straight, no leader, let it swing free. 2 deadliest retrieves. 1, the classic yo-yo, drop to bottom, rip up 3 to 5 feet, free spool back down, repeat. Most bites are on the fall. 2, dead stick flutter drop to the bottom. Lift 12 to 18 inches, let it helicopter down, pause 10 to 20 seconds, repeat. Kills when they're negative. And check this out. If you're fishing from the bank, slab spoons are one of the few true deep water weapons you can use from shore. Find any dam, high bridge, or bluff wall that drops straight into 30 plus feet. Use a 3/4 to 1 ounce spoon, cast as far as possible, or just drop straight down the face. Then yo-yo or dead stick flutter it all the way back. I've stood on public dams in December with a 1 ounce spoon and wore fish out while boat guys struggled to get bit. Distance and depth are your only limits. Your slab spoon cheat sheet. Weight, 1/2 ounce for shallow schools, 3/4 to 1 ounce for 30 plus feet. Colors, chrome on clear, gold on stained days. Your spots, roadbeds, long points, deep brush tops, channel swings. Retrieves, aggressive yo-yo or subtle dead stick flutter. Here's your pro move. Small split ring and a stinger treble if they're nipping at the tail. Bonus, when the school fires, keep the spoon in the water. They'll reload fast. 1 spoon, 1 school, 1 limit. That easy. The bass have gone full hermit mode. They're not spread out. They're glued to the only piece of cover in sight. Today is all about isolated structure. That one random stump, brush pile, rock, or log that sticks out like a sore thumb in deep featureless water. Why isolated structure is pure crack. In cold water, bass want comfort and groceries with minimal swimming effort. One lone piece of cover in a sea of nothing becomes a 7-Eleven, motel, and a thermostat all in one. The fish stack vertically, big ones deep, smaller ones higher. One spot can give up 10 plus keepers. The isolated stuff I'm living on right now. 1, lone standing cedar or hardwood trees in 25 to 45 feet. 2, single brush piles you planted years ago or someone else did that you might have found. 3, random boulder or stump on an otherwise clean flat. Number 4, old roadbed culverts or signposts sticking up off the bottom. I idle huge grids with side imaging on, looking for the needle in a haystack. One mark in a blank desert. When I find it, I park on it like it owes me money. And speaking of money, here are the money baits for lone wolves. 3/4 to 1 ounce flutter spoon, drop through the cover. A 1/2 to 3/4 ounce football jig plus a small trailer. Crawl the base. Drop shot or a Ned when they're suspended or super picky. Your technique, hover directly over it, work the bait vertically first, then fan cast around the edges. One good piece of isolated cover can produce fish for hours. Not too long ago, I found one forgotten cedar tree in 40 feet of nothing. I dropped a spoon through the limbs, first drop, a 6.4. Next 45 minutes, 13 keeper-sized fish could have been a 20-plus pound bag. Moved 300 yards, found another lone stump, another quick 8 fish. 2 pieces of cover, one morning, 21 keepers. That's isolated structure magic. And check this out. If you're fishing from the bank, isolated structure is still money. Just look for the rare deep water anomalies you can reach. Old bridge pilings that stick up in 30-plus feet, single trees hanging off a steep bluff, or a lone rock pile at the end of a dam. Use the same spoon or heavy jig, cast as far toward the cover as possible, let it sink all the way down, then work it straight up the structure. I've caught tanks off single bridge pilings in December just by finding the one random deep spot everyone walks past. Your isolated structure cheat sheet. Look for one piece of cover in a desert of mud or sand. Depth 25 to 50 feet. Deeper on sunny days. Your baits, a spoon, a football jig, a drop shot. Your approach, hover or cast, work vertical first. Here's your pro move. Mark every lone wolf you find. They reload year after year. And a bonus, the uglier, more random the cover, the better. Find the loner, own the lake. If you're still throwing 17 to 20 pound fluoro this month and wondering why you're missing half your bites, you're in the right place. The fish are barely breathing on the bait. Today is the one change that added 8 to 12 fish to almost every trip this month. Going to light line for insane sensitivity and better action. Why light line is winter dynamite. Cold bass barely inhale. Heavy line masks the bite. Lighter line lets tungsten or jigs fall slower and more natural. More feel through the blank. You know it's a bite versus a rock every time. Less resistance equals they hold the bait longer. Better hook sets. My light line rules that are super good right now. Jigs and Texas rigs, 10 to 12 pound fluoro, never heavier than 14. Drop shot and Ned, 8 to 10 pound fluoro, or a 6 to 8 pound braid to an 8 pound fluoro leader. Spoon or blade bait, 12 pound fluoro straight. Your rod, 7 foot, 7'3", medium or medium heavy, depending on what you're throwing. You want it to load slow and you want to feel everything. One time out, I stumbled upon this just trying something different. Was on a 35-foot brush pile. I switched from 17 pound to 10 pound on the exact same half-ounce jig. First 20-plus casts with the heavy line, I had 2 missed bites. I said, F this, cut it off, tied it on my spinnerbait rod with 10 pound fluoro. The next 10 casts, 6 fish, all hooked solid. Same spot, same bait, 6 extra keepers just from the line feel. And if you're on the bank, light line is even more important for you. You're usually fishing longer casts and lighter weights. Drop to 10 to 12 pound fluoro on your jig or Texas rig rods. You'll feel every tick on the rocks and every mushy bite that used to feel like nothing. I've watched guys on public dams go from 2 fish to 12 in the same day simply by spooling 10 pound instead of 17. The difference is that dramatic when the fish are negative. Your light line cheat sheet, fluoro size, 8 to 12 pound max for everything. Yes, even 3/4 ounce jigs. When to use: clear water, finesse presentations, post front, or heavy pressure. Your benefits: better fall rate, insane feel, longer holds, and deeper hook sets. Rod pairing: medium or medium heavy. Let the rod load, not the line. Pro move: retie every 20 fish, or if you get a big snag, 10 pounds is cheap insurance. Bonus: if you're scared of breaking off, add a 2-foot, 15 pound leader. Get the best of both worlds. Light line doesn't mean weak. It means more fish in the net. The single most important piece of info on your entire boat isn't live scope. It's that little water temp number in the corner of the screen. Today is all about why monitoring water temperature every minute can be the difference between a 20 fish day and a skunk. Here's the cold water truth nobody says out loud. A 0.5 to 1 degree change is the same as a 5 to 8 degree swing in the spring. Bass move vertically and horizontally with every tenth of a degree. If you're not watching the temp, you're guessing where the fish are living today. My real-time rules I live by. 1. Log the temperature every 15 to 30 minutes. Write it on the console with a grease pencil if you need to. 2. When it's dropping, cold front, overnight, fish deeper, slower, smaller baits. 3. When it's rising, sunny afternoon, a warm rain, they'll slide shallow and get aggressive. 4. Sweet spot right now. 40 to 44 degrees is a prime feeding window. 5. Below 39 degrees, go super deep and dead stick. Above 45 degrees, they act like it's March. And bank anglers, you can monitor temperature too. It's even more important when you can't run and gun. Carry a cheap digital thermometer, or if you have a fish grip that has one built in, perfect. Dip it every 30 minutes off the rocks. If the riprap or dam face climbs even 1 degree, the bass will slide up the rocks to feed. I've had days on public dams where the sunny side went from 39 to 43 in 2 hours. Moved my jig from 30 feet cast to 10-foot cast and went from 1 to 15 fish. Same rocks, just followed the temperature. Your water temp cheat sheet. Burn this in. 38 to 40 degrees, deep, 30 to 50 feet. Dead stick, tiny baits. 40 to 43 degrees, money zone. Normal winter patterns, fire. 43 to 46 degrees, shallow rocks, windy banks, bigger reaction baits. Dropping temperature, go deeper every hour. Rising temperature, chase the warmest water you can find. Here's your toolkit. Remote temp sensor, a grease pencil, cheap thermometer for bank days. The graph doesn't lie, the fish follow the number. Cold fronts are rolling, and the only difference between a 20-fish day and a skunk is who's willing to dress like an Arctic explorer and grind deep spots with patience. Today is pure motivation and tactics. How to stay warm when it hurts and how to milk deep schools when everyone quits. 5 minutes of cold weather tough love. Ready? Let's go. Your first part. Layer like your life depends on it, because your fingers actually do. Base layer, merino or heavyweight poly, no cotton. Mid layer, grid fleece hoodie or a puffy. Outer, Gore-Tex bibs and a parka, neoprene gloves with flip mitts, double socks, heated insoles. Your head, a beanie under a hood plus a neck gaiter pulled to the eyes. Your secret weapon, hand warmers in pockets and inside your gloves. I dress so I can stand on the deck at 25 degrees for 6 hours and still feel my fingers. If you're shivering, you're doing it wrong. The second part, the mental and tactical grind. Cold front bass go deep and negative. 30 to 50 feet glued to specific cover. They won't chase, they barely move. But they will eat if you put it on their nose and wait. My post-front playbook. Target, isolated brush, lone stumps, deep docks, channel swings. Baits, 3/4 ounce spoon, 1/2 ounce football jig, a drop shot, nothing fast. Patience rule, minimum 5 to 10 minutes per spot, even if it feels dead. 1 school equals 1 limit. Park, grind, refill your coffee, and grind again. Bang, guys, the grind is the same, just on foot. Dress exactly the same, bibs, boots, hand warmers. Pick 1 deep public spot, a dam, bridge, steep point, and commit to it for hours. Dead stick a jig or a spoon in the deepest water you can reach. I've had days on my local reservoir dams when it was 29 degrees out and frost was on the guides. Stayed for hours, caught a bag, while every sane person was inside. Same rules, warm clothes plus stubbornness equals fish. Your cold front survival list. Number 1, layer like you're climbing Mount Everest. Number 2, bring hot coffee or tea in a big thermos. Your morale is everything. Number 3, fish 30 to 50 feet isolated cover only. Number 4, minimum 5 to 10 minutes per spot, usually more. 5, when your buddies quit, you're just getting started. The fish are still there. They're just waiting for the one guy who won't leave. There it is, tough crowd. It doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the stubborn. Dress warmer than you think you need. Find one deep spot with fish. Outlast the quitters. When you're releasing an 8-pounder at 2 o'clock while the ramp's empty, you'll thank me. Drop a like if you're built for the grind. Comment the coldest temp you've ever caught a limit in. And subscribe. We're not done freezing together yet. I appreciate every one of you warriors. Stay warm, stay mean, tight lines, and I'll catch you on the next one.